warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, introduce you from Group 3. I'm Cicilia saputri. Want to explain the material applied HYPONiMY.
Discussion. Number 1. Hierarchies of HYPONiMY. First is a HYPONiMY of the superordinate building, but building is, in turn, a HYPONiMY of the superordinate structure, and in its turn, structure is a HYPONiMY of the superordinate thing. A superordinate at a given label can itself be a HYPONiMY at a single label. The HYPONiMY relation faces top intermediate level in the hierarchy, what means that house is not only a HYPONiMY of building, but is also a HYPONiMY of building, intermediate, superordinate structure, and via structure. House is also a HYPONiMY of thing. Thing is a superordinate for on the words on lines that can be tracked down from it when the hierarchy and so on. The significance of HYPONiMY passing to intermediate level is the hierarchy of this kind grants numerous inferences. Thus, if someone who is speaking the truth tells us about a house, we can know with certainty and with not having to ask that the entire in question is a building, that it is a structure, and that it is a thing. The forest and some on earth word is used because the diagram shows only a fragment of the hierarchy. There are other kind of things besides structure. For example, plants are things. There are other kinds of structure besides buildings. For example, dams are structure. There are also there are HYPONiMYs of house, for example, cottage and bungalow, and it will be seen that this is interact in an interesting way with the house relation, making further inference possible.
Hi, my name is Delli Puspitasari from English major, class 4E. Okay, I will continue the explanation from Cici. Number 2. HYPONiMY and the has relation. These two semantic relations should not be confused. HYPONiMY is about categories being grouped under subordinate terms. For examples, tandems, attributes, terrains, and reasons are kinds of bicycle, and bicycle, unique cycles, and tricycle are kinds of cycles. But the has relation concerns part that prototypical members of categories have. For instance, a prototype cycle has wheels, a frame, handlebars, and pedals. A prototype bicycle has this part too, and also has a chain. Of course, a bicycle does not have tandems, and a chain is not a kind of bicycle, as someone who confuses the has relation and HYPONiMY might think.
There is nonetheless a link between the two relations. Hyponyms inherit the parts that their superordinates have. If a prototype subordinate has certain parts, then prototypes members of that superordinates hyponyms also have those parts. The information can be used to illustrate this. At the bottom of the hierarchy, a prototypical house has a kitchen and at least one bedroom. A prototypical house also has the part that its prototypical superordinates have, walls and a roof, because prototypical buildings have those. Connection between and the part inherited from structure on of its higher level subordinates and a top base from back and side inherited from thing. What has just been said is not averred as a full account of the parts linked to house by the hash relation. For instance, prototypes in the building category also have doors and floors, and prototype house have those too by inheritance.
Number 3. Incompatibility. A small hyponym hierarchy is shown. There are alternative labels and perhaps even different kinds of meals that could have been included, for example, supper, high tea, and brunch, but the honest given will do for present purpose. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are hyponyms of meal. Their immediate subordinate word. Hyponymy guarantees that if we hear that some people had a breakfast in Calais, then we know that they had a meal in Calais because a breakfast is one kind of meal. However, there is no similarly strike entitlement from a sentence with the subordinate from a sentence containing meal to the corresponding sentence with one of its hyponyms. If we are told that some people had a meal in Calais, we cannot conclude just from that they had breakfast there. It might have been a lunch or a dinner. What about relation between hyponyms like breakfast, lunch, and dinner? A semantic relation called incompatibility holds between the hyponyms of a given subordinate. Hyponymy is about classification. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are kinds of meal. Incompatibility is about contrast. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are different from each other within the category of meal. They are eaten at different time of day. That patterns of entailment that provides the test for incompatibility.
Hello everyone, my name is Jefra Hade and I am from Foreign Life and Grup, and I will continue the explanation. 4. For a point about incompatibility. Relation of antonym exhibit the same pattern of entailment. There are entailment from affirmative sentence to negative sentence containing the antonym, but not from negative sentence to the chorus responding affirmative. For example, long and short are antonym. Notice the way that the following entailment that these two words give us with the pattern so in. A long letter is not short and the short letter is not long. However, a letter that is not long is not necessarily short. It could just be middling in length. And a letter that is not short is not necessarily long. It could be somewhere between long and short. 5. Con nouns and must. 5. Con nouns and must nouns. In the grammar of English, there is a clear distinction between con nouns, exemplified by love and coin, and must nouns, exemplified by bread and money. The whole noun vocabulary divided into words that are almost always con noun, ones that are almost always must noun, like not